Summer in New York is always accompanied by unbearable heat and humidity. Even in the evening, the air on the streets of Manhattan is still hot and sticky, and the central air conditioning in office buildings can't completely dispel the heat. However, for those who struggle in this city, the pace of life never slows down due to the weather. My name is Alex Thompson, and I am a senior investigator for a well-known insurance company. I say senior, but I'm actually only in my early 30s, but I've been in the industry for 7 or 8 years, so I've gained a lot of valuable experience compared to the young guys who are just starting out in the industry. My wife, Megan, is the marketing manager of our company. We met 5 years ago during a company retreat, and we're married 2 years later. Our married life is quiet and happy. We both pursue progress in our careers, but we also enjoy the beauty of life. It was a normal Friday night. The company was hosting a summer party at a downtown bar to reward the employees for a season of hard work. Megan and I were invited, of course. The party scene was noisy, with coworkers in groups, either talking loudly or chatting in low voices. With a glass of cold beer in my hand, I walked slowly through the crowd, occasionally saying hello to colleagues I knew and exchanging a few words of courtesy. At that moment, I swept my eyes over the corner of the dance floor and saw Megan chatting with Derek, the company's senior salesman. To be honest, I never thought they knew each other very well, so I was a bit surprised to see them talking so intimately at the moment. Derek is a senior who is 2 years older than me. He is handsome and always has a playboy image. There were always rumors about him in the office. But I have always kept my work and life very separate, and I never asked my coworkers how they like to play. I was hesitant to say hello when a whisper caught my attention. Derek was chatting with his buddy Benjamin, the two of them winking and looking mysterious. I'm telling you that Megan, she's a real piece of work. She's got a great body, Derek said with a smug look on his face. Come on, she's married. Benjamin replied half-heartedly. So what? We've been in love for a while now, and she's been interested in me for a long time. After tonight, we'll be a real couple. When I heard this, my blood froze in an instant. An inexplicable rage shot up from my chest to the top of my head. I stared at Derek, wanting to go up to him and beat him up, but my reasoning told me not to act impulsively until I knew the truth. Just then, Megan saw me too. She smiled and waved at me, signaling me to join them. I forced a stiff smile on my face and walked over to her. All night long, I tried to contain my inner turmoil and act as if nothing had happened. But Derek's words kept haunting me. I knew that I had to find out the truth as soon as possible, otherwise this mystery would become a time bomb in our marriage. On the way home, I couldn't calm down for a long time. My hands trembled as I gripped the steering wheel, and from time to time I glanced over at Megan in the passenger seat, who seemed oblivious to my inner turmoil, just humming a song as quietly as ever. I was determined to get to the bottom of it. As a professional investigator, I was confident that I would find the truth. Regardless of the outcome, I have to face the reality and never let myself live in a lie. As the night wore on, the streets of Manhattan settled down, but I couldn't find peace in my heart for a long time. I woke up early Monday morning when the first rays of sunlight fell gently on my face through the cracks in the blinds. To be precise, I hadn't slept a wink. Derek's words from Friday night and Megan laughing and joking with him kept replaying in my mind. As an investigator, I know it's not wise to question the other side. I need to gather evidence first to establish the truth. Only when I had enough evidence could I confront Megan. I got up, washed up, changed into a smart suit and tie, and left for the office as usual. Only today, I had a secret weapon in my briefcase, my investigation plan. Along the way, I went over every detail of the plan in my head. As an investigator, meticulous planning is my basic skill. Every link must be tightly knit, and every move must be prepared. First, I'm going to install GPS trackers on Megan and Derek so I can keep track of their whereabouts and prepare them for forensics. This way, I will be able to keep track of their whereabouts and prepare for the subsequent tracking and forensics, Megan's handbag and car, and Derek's car as well. To avoid detection, the GPS tracker had to be small enough and have a long battery life. Secondly, I'm going to install hidden cameras in Derek's neighborhoods. His parking space, downstairs in his apartment, restaurants, and bars that he frequents are all key areas. The miniature cameras must have high-definition night vision and be large enough to store. Again, I'm going to access the company's security footage, and I'm going to focus on Megan and Derek's movements around the company. Did they spend a lot of time alone? Any intimate body language? Any of these things could be key evidence. Finally, I need to find a way to hack into Derek's computer and cell phone. From his communication logs, emails, and chat programs, I might be able to find out what he's been up to. As an experienced investigator, I know all these techniques. Of course, in the course of the investigation, I had to be vigilant and not let anyone notice anything unusual. On the surface, I had to work as usual and fulfill my role as a good husband. Secretly, I have to be a wise detective, step by step, until the moment the truth comes out. I took a deep breath, gathered my thoughts, and marched through the doors of the office. In the elevator, I saw Derek, who greeted me with his trademark charming smile. I nodded slightly and tried to squeeze out a smile. If Derek thought his little secret was perfect, he was sorely mistaken. I've solved countless seemingly perfect fraud cases. This time, I'm going to use the facts. I, Alex Thompson, vowed to get to the bottom of it and do myself justice. In my office, I turned on my computer, pulled up Megan's and Derek's files, and started working on a detailed investigation plan. Outside the window, the streets of Manhattan are crowded with traffic, and everyone is in a hurry. I, on the other hand, was about to embark on a secret investigative journey. No matter how many difficulties and obstacles lie ahead, I will go forward without hesitation until the day the truth is revealed. After the investigation plan was formulated, I immediately began to take action. As a professional investigator, I know that the process of obtaining evidence must be careful and meticulous, and that no detail should be spared. First, I placed GPS trackers in the inside compartments of Megan's handbag and in her car. Although I knew in my heart that my wife was innocent, the investigative process had to be rigorous and meticulous, and I couldn't leave anything to chance. I completed the installations with such skill that Megan was unaware of them. Next, I targeted Derek, installing a miniature GPS tracker on the undercarriage of his car and setting up hidden cameras in his usual haunts, including the company garage, underneath his apartment, and at the restaurants and bars he frequented. I chose to do it late at night to avoid being seen. Under the cover of night, I completed all the installations silently. The most problematic issue is the access to the company's CCTV footage. The security guards control the access to the surveillance room very strictly. If you want to access the video, there must be a reasonable reason. I had the bright idea to use the investigation of the company's theft case as the reason and successfully got the past month's surveillance video. Back at home, I scrutinized the footage, hoping to find a clue. Sure enough, I caught a suspicious figure in the video late one night. Although the image was blurry, the sneaky back was clearly Derek. That realization sent alarm bells ringing in my head. What was Derek doing at work in the middle of the night? Was he up to something? A bold theory came to my mind. I had to find more evidence immediately to confirm my suspicion. Over the next few days, I worked around the clock to gather evidence, and the GPS tracker showed that Derek often traveled to isolated locations after work and stayed there for long periods of time. Hidden cameras captured him entering and exiting William's house late at night. Seeing these images, my heart clenched. Could it be that Derek's secret lover was William's wife, Olivia? To further confirm my suspicions, I took the risk of hacking into Derek's computer. In his email account, I found a large number of emails between Derek and Olivia, many of which contained explicit references. The evidence was strong enough, but out of caution, I decided to wait for a decisive moment. It was a long shot. Late that night, the GPS showed that Derek and Olivia were both at a motel in the middle of nowhere. I rushed there and staked out the motel. Sure enough, I captured the two of them checking into the same room. My heart was pounding. Looking at the photos and videos in my hands, I felt both a sense of relief and heaviness. On the one hand, I was proud of the results of my investigation. On the other hand, I felt sad for William and his family. After all, no one wants to face such an outcome. It was late at night when I finished organizing all the evidence. The photos, videos, and emails spread out on the table all pointed to the same disturbing truth. Derek and Olivia, our co-workers, our friends, had betrayed their partners, the sanctity of marriage, and were having an illicit relationship. As William's friend, as an investigator, I knew what to do. But as a husband, as Megan's partner, I felt a tearing pain. I don't want to imagine how I would have felt if I had been the one to face my wife's betrayal. I let out a long sigh and dialed William. William's tired voice came on the other end of the line, and I bluntly explained the situation, telling him that I had solid proof of Derek's incestuous relationship with Olivia. I explained the situation and told him that I had solid evidence of Derek and Olivia's incestuous relationship. William was silent for a long time, and finally just said, "I know," and hung up the phone. I can understand William's feelings at this moment. As a successful businessman and an accomplished husband, it must be hard for him to accept such a blow. He needs time to digest and think about what to do next. But I didn't have time to empathize with William's feelings, because next, I had a more difficult task to accomplish. I had to confess to Megan and tell her the truth. Even though she was innocent, I was worried about how it would affect her, how it would affect our marriage. Looking out the window, I stayed up all night. The next morning, I was mentally prepared to tell Megan everything. But when I came to the company, but found the hall a commotion, people in groups, whispering, face with or surprised or gossip expression, my heart rose a sense of foreboding. Soon, the truth came out. It turned out that last night, William learned the truth, stayed up all night, drinking alone. Early in the morning, with a smell of alcohol, he broke into Derek's office, in front of all the colleagues, gave Derek a punch. Security guards pulled the two apart, and William announced that Derek was fired and informed the company of his scandalous relationship with Olivia. When I arrived, I saw Derek packing up his personal belongings and leaving the office in a state of dismay and sympathy, while Olivia was long gone, reportedly sent away by William. I was so saddened by this scene. I found William. His face was haggard and his eyes were red. I patted him on the shoulder and gave him a supportive look. As a person who has been there, I understand how he feels at this moment. Betrayal is the most unbearable pain in a marriage, but I believe he will get over it. After all, life goes on. I went back to my office to tell Megan about the incident, but she was waiting for me. When she saw me, she had a look on her face that made her want to say something. I sighed, told her to sit down, and told her the whole story. To my surprise, Megan didn't show too much surprise after hearing this. She just quietly held my hand and said softly, "I've always felt that Derek wasn't a good person. And Olivia, I've always been wary of her. I just never thought that they would do something like this." I looked at her with surprise and suddenly realized that between husband and wife, there are many things that do not need to be said explicitly. Silent understanding and trust is the cornerstone of marriage. We hugged each other tightly, in each other's arms, feeling each other's body temperature and heartbeat. At that moment, I knew that no matter what happened, we would go hand in hand and be with each other all the way. The truth was revealed, but life went on. The company soon recovered from the storm. People seemed to forget about Derek and Olivia and went back to their work. Only I, from time to time, would think of them, of their laughter and side by side, and of William's bloodshot face. The news of Derek's departure caused quite a shock within the company. There was a lot of talk, and people were puzzled and sorry for the sudden change. As one of the people involved, I inevitably became the center of discussion. Walking in the corridors of the company, I could feel the curious or inquisitive gazes from all sides. Some people said to me in a tone of admiration, "Alex, your investigative ability is really great, but can find out their old bottom." There are also some people secretly speculate, "He must have known the inside story, otherwise how would the key moment to take out the evidence?" In the face of these positive or negative rumors, I just laugh it off. As a professional investigator, I know that on the road to uncovering the truth, praise and skepticism are inevitable. My duty is to use facts to speak, use evidence to reveal the truth. As for the views of others, not in my consideration. While there was still a lot of discussion within the company, Williams suddenly called me into his office. I was a bit confused and wondered what his intentions were. Pushing open the door of the president's office, I saw Williams standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, looking out at the cityscape. When he heard the commotion, he turned around with a tired but relieved smile on his face. "Alex, have a seat." He pointed to the chair opposite to me, signaling me to sit down. You've worked hard for a long time, and it's a credit to you that the company was able to resolve this crisis in time." I smiled modestly. This is my job. Besides, I'm also trying to protect the company's interests. William nodded, with heartfelt approval in his eyes. I have always admired your investigative ability and professional ethics. This incident has convinced me that the company needs someone like you to be in charge of internal auditing and supervision. Are you interested in the position of vice president? This position reports directly to me. I was stunned and in disbelief for a moment. Vice president? This is a position I never dreamed of. But on second thought, I was a little hesitant. William, I really appreciate your trust and appreciation. But to be honest, I love my current investigative work and don't know if I'm cut out for a management position. William laughed and said, Alex, you're too modest. You have keen insight, meticulous logical thinking, and impeccable professional ethics. These are the qualities of a good manager. The company is in need of people like you right now, and I would feel very comfortable with you joining us. Looking at William's sincere gaze, my heart was shaken. This was a rare opportunity, not only for career advancement, but also for the recognition of my ability. More importantly, in this position, I can play a greater role. I can use my way to defend the interests of the company, to protect the justice of more people. I see. I stood up and shook William's hand solemnly. I am willing to accept this challenge. I will do my best to fulfill your promise. William smiled in relief. Welcome to the top management team, Alex. Welcome to the top management team, Alex. I'm sure we'll take the company to the next level with you on board. Walking out of William's office, I felt a sense of relief. The title of vice president was both a confirmation and a stimulus for me. I knew that it meant greater responsibility and a more difficult mission, but I was ready to take on the challenge of the unknown. When I got home, I shared the news with Megan, who was so happy for me that she hugged me tightly and whispered in my ear, "Honey, I'm so proud of you. I will always be there for you, no matter what you choose to do." I gazed at Megan with deep affection, and a warm current of happiness welled up inside me. Yes, no matter how difficult the road ahead is, as long as she is by my side, I have no fear, because I understand that we will go forward hand in hand and create a better tomorrow for us. Since becoming vice president of the company, the intensity of my work has increased significantly. Every day, I face the company's major decisions and thorny issues, requiring me to pay more time and energy. Over time, I began to feel a little overwhelmed. Recently, I often work late into the night, sometimes even overnight. During the day, I have meetings and negotiations, and at night, I have to review documents and formulate programs. I feel physically and mentally exhausted from the high intensity of my work. Megan noticed the change in me. One night, I was once again working in the study until the wee hours of the morning. One night, I was once again working in my study until the wee hours of the morning, when Megan walked in gently, wrapped her arms around me from behind, and asked with concern, "Honey, aren't you tired lately? You've lost weight." I turned to Megan, took her by the shoulders and apologized. "I'm sorry, honey. There's been so much going on at the office lately. I've been working overtime. I haven't been able to keep you company." Megan gazed into my eyes, her tone firm but gentle. "Alex, I understand that your job is important, but your health is more important. No matter how busy the company is, you can't wear yourself out. Besides, I miss you, and the kids miss their dad." I looked at Megan in a daze and suddenly realized that I had failed in my duty. Yes, I was too immersed in my work, but neglected the most important family around me. Megan not only have to take care of the family every day, but also to take care of their own work. One person has to bear too much. And I didn't give her the attention and care she deserved. "Megan, thank you for making me realize that." I took her hand and said sincerely, "Starting tomorrow, I'm going to organize my time wisely and strike a balance between work and family. I won't let you carry all the responsibilities alone anymore. Together, we will run this family together." Megan smiled in relief and kissed me gently on the cheek. "Honey, with your words, I feel relieved. Remember, no matter what happens, I will always be your strongest support. Our family will always be one." Since then, I have been trying to balance work and family. I've learned to organize my time more efficiently, working full-time during the day and coming home in the evening to be with my family. On weekends, I take Megan and the kids to the park or play games and watch movies at home. Gradually, I found a work-life balance. I found that when I manage my family with all my heart, the pressure of work is also reduced. Because I know, no matter how the world outside changes, home is always my most solid harbor, is the source of all my strength. Megan, on the other hand, is the biggest blessing in my life. It is her love that supports me along the way. It is her wisdom that lights up the direction of my life. With her, I can be a better husband, a better father, and a better manager. I began to think, what is true success? Is it money, power, or fame? No, all these are just passing clouds. Only the smile of my family and the embrace of my loved ones are the treasures of my life and my eternal pursuit. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.